Hey, in this video, we're going to be making this custom napkin holder. It's super low cost in materials, and in fact, it can be made with scrap pieces of wood. There is a template that you will need or some way to create the letters. The reason you're creating the letters is the biggest way to make money in woodworking is customization. These are napkin holders that can be customized to your customer's last name. In this case, it's an H. Let's go. So in the case of my scrap wood, I have a piece of 1x12 pine. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't even have to be this big, but it does need to be big enough to fit the letters on there. This is the letter H template because my last name starts with an H, but the entire alphabet is available on my website and it's all in one file. So you can just get the file of all the letters of the alphabet. That way when a customer reaches out to you, you can go ahead and have the letter and the template to make their last name. Just print that letter and that sheet that you need so that you're not having to print off each page every single time. So here's how this is going to work. We're going to take our I'm going to use spray adhesive, but if you have a glue stick, kind of like you would use back in school, you can apply that to the back as well. We just want to have a way to stick this template onto the wood. So we're going to apply some spray adhesive on the back of our sheet. And this spray adhesive is kind of old. Give that just a second to kind of tack up and set up to ensure that we can get a good bond onto our piece of wood. All right, now we're going to take our piece of wood and find a clean spot. In other words, not a spot that has a knot in it or anything. And we're going to put this right on there like that and just kind of roll it in and make sure it gets a good bond to the wood. We don't want that paper slipping around or coming off. Okay, once our glue has set up, our paper is glued to the board. We're going to, anywhere that there's a pocket, meaning that the line fully encapsulates the letter, we're going to need to drill that. And your drill bit, it doesn't really matter what size, as long as the drill bit diameter is bigger than the blade of your jigsaw. You will need a jigsaw for this, for the pocket pieces. The outside pieces, you can actually just do on a bandsaw, which is how I'm going to do it. But the inside pieces, drill a hole, that way you can get your jigsaw blade in there to cut those out. So one hole there. Now again, we're ready to use our jigsaw to cut out the pockets of the lettering. And it will take multiple cuts to do this. Just take your time and cut to the line. Okay, in case you're wondering if the smoke coming off of that is normal, no it is not. I need a new jigsaw blade. That one is dull. I just don't have any on me. So keep your blades sharp, replace your blades often. I just need some. The pockets are cut out. You could continue to cut out the rest of this on your jigsaw. I'm gonna try to at least get the bulk of it on the bandsaw because I find the bandsaw to be easier and the blade sharp. But if you wanted to use a jigsaw, you certainly could, but we need to cut both of these letters out. Okay, once your pieces are cut out, you may need to sand a little bit just to kind of refine the edges and kind of remove the saw blade marks. Thankfully, this is pine, and so it sands very easily. I promise you're not going to be here for hours upon hours sanding because it's such a soft wood, it does sand pretty quick. So we'll give it a quick scuff sanding and then move on to the next step. And during the sanding process, you can also work on taking off the paper on this face. You can do that by sanding it off, or if you have some sort of scraper, you can also use that to kind of scrape and get the residue of the glue off. All right, now that the paper's scraped off and sanded down, you're going to need a piece that is 5 inches long and 2 inches wide. This is going to go in the middle, and it should line up roughly with the bottom of your letter. Again, you can apply wood glue to this if you would like, which I will do, and then I'm just going to tack nail it in from the side at the bottom. So I'll just add a little bit of glue here, kind of spread that out a little bit, and then we will just tack a few nails in here. And these letters on the template should line up with 3/4 inch thick and 5-inch long material for this bottom piece. And we'll repeat the process on the other side. A little bit of glue. And if your letters are too thin, since this is such a soft wood, just be very careful with the nails. If they're too thin, just put glue on it and clamp it and don't do the nails. For the sake of this video, I'm gonna do the nails, but again, just be mindful of that. And the only reason I even mention that is because since it's a soft wood, that nail can cause the wood to split. Okay, everything's assembled. If you need to, give it one last sanding, but then we'll apply some stain. You could clear coat it as it is, but in my opinion, stain is gonna look a little bit better only because since napkins are white and a very light color, I think the darker stain would contrast very nicely with the napkins. And we'll just be kind of liberal with the stain, meaning apply lots of it, because we can always wipe off the excess later. That's kind of my theory and method behind any stain project that I do. And now that stain is applied, while it is still wet fairly quickly, I'm going to wipe off the excess. This just kind of gives it more of a rustic feel. You see how it's kind of bleeding through like that? I enjoy the way that that looks, but if you don't, you can just let the stain dry as it is. And we'll let this dry and then we'll put some clear coat on it. Okay, once the stain has dried, it's time to put clear coat on it just to kind of bind everything and seal everything up, since it will get some wear and tear just as you're getting napkins out of it. I am going to use spray cam. This is Watco clear lacquer. You can also use water-based polyacrylic. You can use oil-based if you want. There's multiple different ways that you can clear coat this, but the spray can in this lacquer specifically, I find to be plenty enough for what this is, and it dries fast. So I'm going to put a clear coat on this and this project will be complete. Okay, and just like that, clear coat is applied and dried. These are not napkins obviously, but imagine that they were. The napkins would go in just like this. It could be beautifully presented, customized to the customer's last name, first name, whatever letter they want. It does not take much material and much cost to do this. The biggest thing is going to be the time, but if you can batch these, even if it's not the same letter, if you can do all your gluing of templates at one time, if you can kind of batch things out, you'll be able to see better profits that way. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to get the links to these templates on my website. There's a link down in the description. Like the video, and lastly, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Take care.